It's your boy Football Talk. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. We have 5 best and worst things about college football 26. Woo! Okay, this one is gonna be interesting because I've heard nothing really but good things about college football 26. A few negatives here and there, which I'm sure Eric Rayweather will talk about. But man, I'm super excited to hop into this. Hopefully you guys are ready. Also, another thing, before I actually get into this, I want to say thanks for all the love and support that you guys have shown me, not only on YouTube, but on other social medias such as my Instagram and TikTok. I really appreciate all the comments, the support, especially on these last couple of videos. Like I'm really thankful for all the love and support. It doesn't go I see it. I might not respond to every comment, but I see it. So yeah, shout out to y'all, man. Y'all, hey, this channel would not be where it is today if it wasn't for people like you, people like y'all. So shout out to y'all. But without further ado though, let's jump right into this. Let's see. All right.
And I think I've got a good. It's time to talk about the 5 best things and the 5 worst things about college football 26. I've been playing the game for a bit now, and I think I've got a good grasp on the things I personally like the most about it and the areas that I still think need some work. And this is how I like to do my reviews, because over the years I've grown to learn that people view these games very differently. Things I care about, others may not, and vice versa. So that's why I like to talk about best versus worst, because you may be looking for one specific thing in the game, and if that one thing is still lacking a little bit, then you don't really care about the other stuff. Now, I still do have a few copies left that I'm giving away. Go to my social media if you want a chance to play the game for free. So let's start off with the 5 best things. Number 1, it's still gameplay for me. They nailed it last year, and I think this year it's still really good. Now, last year versus this year, I do think there's some things that were better about last year's gameplay, but there's also some things that's better this year. Overall, it still has the college football feel, which I think...
I was just about to say that, gameplay-wise, I've heard some people say they like better because it's a lot more balanced, and especially when it comes to the defense is so much better. But I've also heard from the opposite side that people like the more faster pace arcade style of 25. So it's still college at the end of the day. You're still gonna get the big plays and the crazy missed tackle or whatever. You're going to get that. But it's just a matter if you want a more like balanced feel, which is more towards a simulation aspect, or a arcade, like you're playing Madden on arcade mode, which, hey, play that.
Is what a lot of us liked about the game last year. It's fast, it's snappy, the left stick control is very good and responsive, the big plays are there, and the electric players really stand out. The ball trajectories are still really good.
One thing I do love is that the new speed
physics-based tackling system, which I think is a big plus, and they overhauled QB animations, so now they look a lot more realistic. However, the game does feel just a tad bit slower than it was last year, and the ball carrier moves don't seem quite as explosive, whereas the left stick control I think feels better and smoother than it did last year. So even though the game slowed down just a little bit and the ball carrier moves aren't quite as explosive and exaggerated as they were last year, the fact that the left stick is smoother and more responsive, in my opinion, still makes it easy to make people miss in the open field and create those big plays. The defense is still not that great in the game. I think it actually got worse in some ways, which I'll talk about later in the video.
For real?
But overall, if I'm just judging
I've actually heard good things about defense.
It's still one of the strongest points of the game. Number 2, presentation.
Woo!
Honestly,
yes,
sir. My favorite thing about the game this year, even
oh
over the
my
gameplay.
gosh,
Presentation was pretty
good.
good last year, but they knocked it out of the park this year, in my opinion. They updated so many of the team introductions this year so that not as many teams have more generic ones. They even updated ones for the bigger schools to add more details to them. They introduced the new nighttime runouts that have light shows and drone shows.
Let me just say this about the presentation. The nighttime, like the different presentations for when I'm at nighttime, that was a excellent idea and excellent execution right there. The presentation in 25 was already 9 out of 10. This right here, it broke the scale. From what I've seen, and I've actually seen, I watched it was a pretty big video of all the runouts for every team in college football 26. I was thinking about doing reaction to that, but it is very long. Like, I think it was like over 2 hours. You know, I watch it, you know, over the days. I didn't watch it in one session to make that clear. But yeah, it's. I didn't think that they could like. I knew they was going to top 25, but I didn't think it was going to be this like big of a gap. You know what I mean?
For a number of the big teams to make it feel more epic. They added a lot more crowd chants. They added a lot more licensed music,
hearing
like
the crowd sing the songs.
Much more.
Oh,
they added
my
a lot
God.
more band music. I mean, Auburn even plays the swag surf before kickoff. They added over 30 new mascots to the game. I mean, I could go on and on. The commentary, while still lacking in areas, got a lot better than last year, in my opinion. It's a lot more exciting.
You know what?
Than last
I have
year, but
not
I do
heard
still
much
think
about
this
the
is an area that
commentary
they can
this
work
year.
on and make better than it is. But the fact that they still made improvements there, I think, is a good thing. All of the pregame graphics, they've added a ton of diversity to that, so it doesn't look the same every game. The audio of this game is just simply top notch, and every time I hop into a game, I'm amped up because there's just so much going on, and it
Feels like you're
college
actually
football.
like there
Now, we're
on
gonna
a
continue on,
Saturday.
but really quickly, I have to shout out today's video sponsor, Underdog. If you like sports,
Shout
and you
out
like
to
winning money, then you've
Underdog.
gotta
Hopefully,
be
I
on
get a
Underdog
sponsorship
playing
with
your
you,
pick'em.
with you guys.
Continuing on, the third best thing about college football 26 is Dynasty Mode. Last year they set a really good foundation with this,
Yep.
but it did launch with a number of bugs that kind of held it back.
You know what's
for a
crazy?
few
I have
weeks,
not
and it
seen
was
a
missing
Dynasty
some really
Mode,
important
like,
quality of life
video
things that they've since
on
added this
YouTube.
year. They've added formation subs, which is huge for the mode. They've added a trophy room, which a lot of people wanted. They've added a ton of history to the mode so you could see who's won championships and trophies dating back to the beginning of football, pretty much. They've also added the ability to sim
Which
to
is
specific
crazy.
weeks instead of jumping ahead multiple weeks, which is a really important thing in my opinion.
Yeah,
Combine
I
that
did
with
not
the
know
fact
that.
they've
I
made
like
some
that.
good updates to recruiting, like location-based recruiting, dynamic deal breakers, and they've made it a little bit more of a challenge, and the fact that they've unlocked the transfer portal and you have a lot more people entering, which can be kind of annoying at times, but at least there's settings so that you can control how crazy this gets. You put all that together, and Dynasty Mode, in my opinion, is significantly better than it was last year. Number 4, playbooks. Now, this kind of goes hand in hand with
Yeah.
gameplay to a degree, and that's one of the reasons I think gameplay is so
Oh,
good
you
this
can
year.
actually
because on top
see
of
it like
the fact
this.
that they
Oh,
still kept
okay.
a lot of the stuff the same that we liked last year, they've added over 2,800 new plays to the game. Everything from adding more trick plays to more unique motion plays, double motion plays, on top of all of the other
By the
plays
way,
that
check
already
out my
existed. You can
reaction
get really
to the
unique
best
in this
plays
game, and I love that about
to win
football games.
now
I like
in,
sitting
college
practice
football
mode
26
sometimes
on my
and just
channel right
building
now.
schemes and then taking them online and seeing how good they perform. Even if you're a Dynasty Mode player, you might want to put together a different offense for a team you're building. With the amount of plays that were added, you really can do anything you want on offense, which is awesome. And number 5, the details. From things like teams trying to distract you on the big board while you kick a field goal in an opposing team's
That
stadium,
is nightmare
to adding
fuel.
more team-specific turnover celebrations.
Once again, with the SMU one, right? For any SMU fans out there, who idea was it to pop a bottle on that? It's still crazy.
In an opposing team's stadium, to adding more
Like, look at this. Who idea was this? I ain't gonna say I'm gonna steal it, but yeah, you know, this is one of the best ones. I ain't gonna lie to you.
team-specific turnover celebrations. from
I'd go
adding more
SMU
specific
just to do
crowd
that.
chants and songs that play after first down, third downs, and touchdowns.
Nah,
from
the
making
Sawyer
snow
is
games look a
badass.
lot better than last year. To quarterbacks visibly
Definitely.
showing their wear and tear while walking to the line. They've nailed a lot of these little things that keep us coming back. Now, that doesn't mean that
And it's
everything's perfect
about
either.
the
There
little
are still
details
certain
when it
things
comes
for
to
certain
college
teams that aren't 100%
sports
accurate. There's
in general.
136 teams in the game. It's going to take some years to nail every single detail for every single team. So no, is every detail perfect? Not at all, but they've nailed a lot of them. Now let's talk about the 5 worst things. Number 1 for me is defense. Defense was kind of rough last year, but it was more of a pursuit thing over anything else last year. This year, it's the pursuit. It's the fact that you really can't catch interceptions anymore. It's crazy. And I know some people complain that there's too many interceptions in these games, but the problem is you got to find the balance. You don't want
Okay, so people were complaining about it being too many picks and how the CPU, without even looking, can pick it off. But now we're here saying you don't get as many picks. What? Now, even with a balanced approach, you're still really not going to hit the nail on the coffin, which all respect to Eric Rayweather because he's actually played this game, but just from the outside looking in, even if they make it balanced, it's still going to be a split. You know what I mean? Like, it's still going to people be over here like, why can't I get this pick? Why can't I get my players not getting these picks? Then you're going to have on the other side, my goodness, man, we used to get a lot of picks in the old ones. I liked it. Like, you're never really going to win. Even if you try to balance it more. And I feel like if you balance it more, now it's going to open up to other things that, so
too many.
Tough.
But you don't want it to be hard to get interceptions as well. I mean, even
that
on the
is
offensive
true.
side of the ball, they're dropping the ball a lot on offense too, I think. So it's kind of a both sides of the ball thing when it comes to just dropping it. But it feels really hard to play defense in this game, and maybe it should because that's college football, but I do think there needs to be a little bit of a buff here. I do think man defense is solid. That's the one thing I'll say. I think they did really good improvements with man defense.
Which is crazy because it's not like that in real life.
But outside of that, pursuit, dropping tons of interceptions every game that's just consistently thrown into coverage, I just think it needs a little bit of a buff here. Number 2, the same positions in Road to Glory. I didn't want to say Road to Glory as a whole was one of the worst things, which is what I did last year, because I do genuinely think they made some great updates.
I'm surprised he didn't put this in the best, like the Road to Glory. Because I think the Road to Glory is really, really good.
I like the way they implemented high school personally, because I don't want to play a full season. You get the moments, but you basically get 4 drives a game, which I think it's not a full game, but it's close enough. 4 drives is still a decent amount per game. But
I mean,
again, I understand some people want more
really
games and they
good.
want full games. So give people the options. Games are about options. Let people play the way they want. But the one thing that is holding Road to Glory back is it's still the same positions. And dating back to Madden bringing back career mode years ago, we've been stuck at the same positions now for 3-4 years. This is something that just needs to get better. I'm not saying we need every position. I don't care about offensive line. I don't need to be a punter. I think that's unnecessary personally, in my opinion. But you've got to allow people to play safety. That's just an iconic position for football career mode. You need to bring that back. You
definitely,
need to be able to be
love
a pass
to see
rusher.
that.
It's one of the most important positions in football. And then after
I would
that,
definitely like to see them add the pass rusher for sure.
Those 3 in, I think you've kind of covered all of the major bases for what positions people would want to play. Number 3, Road to the College Football Playoff. And it hurts me to put this here because this is genuinely my favorite mode in the game. And things last year that I didn't love about it, I was able to forgive because it was the first year. But this year, I've got to speak on it. Number 1, we can't change playbooks in the mode. Now, I'm not knocking them too much for this because I know this is an intentional design decision. They want you to play with the team's playbook.
I was about to say, don't they want you to play with the team playbook?
I don't personally like that. I know a lot of people do. That's fine. It's just my opinion. They don't want to see teams like Alabama and Georgia running the triple option. I get it.
Facts.
But like I said earlier, games are about choices. People want choices. People want to play the way they want to play.
Okay. Little pushback, Eric. Yes, games are about choice. The issue that the sports games in general face is that us as the user abuse it. Let's just speak fact. We abuse choice. If you give us options, we're gonna find a way to fuck it up. Not only that, some of us are gonna find a way to get your ass a lawsuit. Yeah. Oh, the good, but EA used to do this, used to do. Well, guess what? They got in trouble for some shit that you did. You know? Yes, I understand. You buy the game. You know, you kind of want to do what you want, but at the same time, us as a human race, choice is not always good for us. And I say 90% of the time, we should not have choice. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. because we don't know how to act. We don't. Like, we just don't know how to act when we get choice. We do stupid stuff.
Play. This is something that I just wish they would consider. If not, you can make it to where you can change playbooks, but maybe it has to be the same style of playbook, right? So some teams run pro style, some teams have run and shoot. Obviously, the military teams run a completely different style of offense. If they can,
I think what they're doing with the playbook is good, in my opinion.
Playbook. I think that would be kind of a nice common
me personally,
ground,
I don't like seeing like other
playbooks
playbooks on other teams,
so
like on another team.
But let's be
Just,
honest, some playbooks in this game
cringe to
are
me.
just way better than others, and some are just more generic. And if your favorite team has one of the more generic playbooks that isn't as creative, even though another playbook that is the same style of offense has way better plays and way more creativity, it just kind of sucks when you want to play.
Well,
with your
speaking of
favorite
choice,
team.
can't
But a
you
big
choose
thing for
another
me here
team?
is you still can't change uniforms in this mode, and that's something that I just don't understand. College football, that's one of the best things about it, is all the crazy uniforms people wear. They put all these new ones in the game and updates, and we can't wear them in this mode. You've got to change that. And the last thing about this mode is that they added home field advantage, which I wasn't a massive fan of, but I get it. It is realistic. It's part of what makes college football college football. I think the home field advantage in this mode is just a little too intense at times. I should be able to tell my halfback to block. He's standing right next to me. Home field advantage should not affect me telling my halfback to do.
Am I tripping here? We're complaining about something that we wanted in the game. What is see, this is why I didn't have the choice. So he says the home field advantage is a little bit too much and that he should be able to tell his halfback who's right beside him what he wants him to do. In real life, I could be standing right here. I'm right here, right? You right here. If that crowd is loud, if we are in LSU, Death Valley at nighttime, Ohio State, you could be right here face to face with me, and me and you still wouldn't hear what we saying. It's realistic. Do you know how loud some of these crowds is? They're recorded on the Richter scale. Do people not understand that? They're that loud. So it makes sense that sometimes you're not going to be able to tell your halfback, hey, I want you to block that safety with that linebacker that's coming. That linebacker that's coming right here, I need you to block him. What? Huh? What you say? I need you. This is all the running back, the halfback is seeing. And he's just looking like, I mean, I do see that linebacker. He wants me to block, right? I'm pretty sure he wants me to block. I think he wants me to block. It's so loud in here. Like, and now you're trying to listen, but guess what? You got other things in your mind. You like, damn. Did I study? Am I going to be able to study for that test later on today? Like, tonight? Like, damn, after this game, I got to go home, got to study, got to look. Hey, did I turn in that report? Damn, I ain't going to, hey, coach said go to play too, right? Like, it's a lot of things going.
Anything. He is
I
right
don't
next
agree
to
with
the
this.
quarterback. Granted, yes, you shouldn't be able to make multiple hot routes if the home field advantage is going crazy. That I agree with. But one hot route a play, in real life, you can tell the receiver what to do. You're giving him a hand signal. You're not actually
It depends on where you at, though.
I just think this needs to be tweaked. That on top of the fact that if you try to make any last second adjustment with like 5 seconds left on the play clock, your O-line false starts every time. Now, do I have a problem with that happening every once in a while? No, because that's realistic. But
I mean,
it
that
should
happens
not
in real
happen
life.
every single time you try to do something with 5 seconds left.
Have you
'cause the
seen
defense might make
Alabama
a shift,
offensive line?
And then you have to shift to match that. You should be able to do that. So I do love the mode as a whole. I just think there's a few things they need to do with it to make it
I don't
more
agree
enjoyable.
with this.
Looking for an easier way to create voiceover audio? Natural Reader AI Voice Generator is the easiest way.
Number 4, customization. Now, do I think customization is horrible in this game? No, it's solid, but it just needs to be better. It's better than it was last year. I mean, last year you couldn't even edit anything about recruits. You couldn't even edit their number. Now, you know, they've updated that, so that's good. I would say that editing the appearance of recruits would be cool. I get it that they can't allow you to edit both the name and the appearance, because then you could create future NIL prospects, and that could potentially be an issue for them. And I think the reason they allow you to edit the name and not the face is because the average person that's jumping into Dynasty would much rather find a recruit that looks like them and put their name and their player in the Dynasty mode. That's probably why it's like that. But let's be honest, a lot of the recruits can look a little crazy at times, and I think if they can maybe code in a way, if this is possible, where you can go one or the other. If you edit the appearance of a recruit, then it locks their name. If you edit their name, it locks the appearance, unless you change their name back to the original name. That way, people that just want to edit names can do that, and people that want to edit appearances can do that. I think that would be a huge...
So with that, can they code? Let's see. So okay, let me let you know on some things about this, about when it comes to making games, right? Obviously, I'm not a game developer, but I have worked in Unity, Unreal Engine, doing some Blender things. You can code a lot of things. The issue comes up with the engine. You can code whatever you want, but can the engine support the code? Because you're just coding something, but do we know if the engine... And plus, I don't know if you guys know this or not. What EA is using is not made for sports. So they changed from it. What was it? I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. They changed from that because FIFA had already went to Frostbite, and they wanted to better align. You know, they didn't want multiple teams on different engines. You know, it costs money. It's a lot of things. That's, you know, recruitment. You know, trying to get new people in. You know, if they move to a different team, now they gotta learn this, and it was a lot, you know. So they brung Madden onto that, and then the UFC and stuff like that later on, I'm pretty sure. So we possibly could see that next year, but I don't know if it would support if the engine supports it. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to give an excuse or anything. I'm just thinking from a guy that has dabbled in these certain things.
Upgrade.
I'm pretty sure they can put it in there, though.
I have to throw in the equipment here because I know my equipment guys are upset with some of the stuff that wasn't added. Do I think the equipment situation is as bad as some people make it out to be? No, there's a lot of ways you can customize your
people
player.
People make everything bad.
It was a lot worse. However, there are still some pieces of equipment that should be in the game because real life players wear them. People want to see one leg sleeve. They want to see updated equipment in other places. And I get to some people this is silly and they don't think it's a big deal, but you have to understand everybody likes something different about a video game. If you play Road to Glory, you want to make your player look exactly how you want him to look. That's part of the mode. You know, what if players in the game still looked like they were wearing stuff out of the year 2000? They all still had the 2000 style helmets, and they were barely wearing.
Some people like the 2000 style helmets.
At that point, like, where is the line drawn?
Nostalgia?
At the end of the day, you want players to look how they look in real life, and there are still some things missing that are holding that aspect of the game back. And another thing I want to throw in there, I'm not knocking the game for this, but something that would be cool in future years is give us the ability to create custom stadiums for our Team Builder teams. Team Builder, I think, actually got great upgrades this year. I think that's one of the areas that customization is good, because we do have generic stadiums at least now. You can upload more logos, you can customize your team's rosters more. So I think in some ways customization did get better, but in terms of recruits, in terms of equipment, in terms of the fact that you really can't create a player outside of Road to Glory, I understand there's reasons for that, but I think you could allow that in ways where you can limit it just enough so you can't perfectly recreate other players. Those things need to be better, but Stadium Creator would be an awesome addition in a future game.
That would.
And number 5, I have to throw this in there because this is important to so many people. A lot of people will not buy the game if this is not in the game, and you still can't import your roster from Dynasty to franchise mode in Madden. We know why. It's an NIL thing.
I was about to say, isn't it an NIL
and
thing?
the reasonings behind it, but I do know that that is the main reason it's not there. My suggestion for this is similar to the suggestions of other people. You got to try to find a way to make it to where you could at least import the roster once you get past the point of the NIL players being out of the game. If you're playing into your Dynasty 4 years deep, 5 years deep, those NIL players are gone. So if you could make a way to where once you get deep enough into the game that at that point you can import over, I think that would be cool. I don't know what the logistics of something like that is. I'm not really knocking them too much for this because I know that if they could.
So, okay. I understand what he's getting at. But even if you import the roster, won't some guys still be on the NIL deal? Cause like you have some freshmen and stuff on your team. Even if you're 4 to 5 years in, you're still gonna have like freshmen and stuff like that. So wouldn't they still be on NIL deals? So what will you do? Import half the team? Maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, but wouldn't they still be on NIL? Like, I don't know.
Do this without any potential legal ramifications, it would be there. But the fact is, these NIL players, they do not belong to the NFL Players Association, and if you don't, they cannot just import those players over to Madden. They could get into a lot of legal trouble, and then we potentially lose the game again. So I'm not knocking EA for this, but I am putting it on the list
could be
because for a lot
done
of people,
just like
is
that.
a make or break thing about the
just
game.
because we
They will
wanted
not buy
some
it if this does not
options.
exist.
Okay, I agree on majority of this. It was some things that I didn't really agree on, like the road to the college football playoffs. I mean, I felt like that's how it is in real life, and they're kind of basing it on real life. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it was just the way he said it, but I just didn't agree with that point. But majority of this I did agree with, and I have seen others comment about this. So yeah, love you guys and see you guys in the next one.